turned to my weather app to check the temperature, and it was 32 degrees. And my first thought was, hell has froze over. I want to speak goodness and love and hope into the women standing behind me and all of the other survivors whose names you don't even know, but stand with these women. They are survivors, and they are strong, and they are courageous, and they are daughters of God. They are not victims. These women have fought the most horrific fight that no woman should have to fight, and they did it by banding together and never giving up. And that's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people whom we serve as representatives here in Congress demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that. While I want to see every single name released so that these women don't have to live in fear and intimidation, which is something I've had a small taste of in just the past few days, just a small taste. They've been living it for years. But the real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files? Or will it all remain tied up in investigations? Will the CIA release the files? Will a judge in New York release the information? That's information that needs to come out. And will the list of names that these women privately hold, and they hold it because of their fear in their heart of what would happen to them if they release it on their own, will that list of names come out? That's the real test. So I want to thank Thomas Massie and 𝐸𝐭 for your bravery in doing something that is much needed in America, crossing the political aisle that has become bigger than the Grand Canyon in America. But these men crossed that aisle on behalf of these women. And that is more of what is needed today in America than ever in our history.
We thank.
Well, as you guys know, Marjorie Taylor Greene has pretty much went over to the other side. And in all honesty, it's not really about sides. It shouldn't be about political sides. It should be about justice. What happened to these women? Who was involved? That is pretty much all that we should be concerned about. But of course, you know, Donald Trump wants to control everything and everybody. And at this present time, he is doing what? Losing the rest of the mind that he has left. Because what happened yesterday? What did Congress do? They actually received all the votes. Everybody voted to release the files.
And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
That's how it went down. Congress united against President Trump, forcing him and his administration to release the files that they have been withholding. The push began earlier this year with Democrats using a rare method, to override the Republican speaker. They picked off some Republicans against Trump. Tonight we can see how that strategy worked. Republicans retreated, going from opposing any Epstein vote to virtually all of them joining Democrats to back this within one vote of unanimously. That was in the House. And now, unanimously in the Senate. More on how that vote count will weaken Trump's legislative strategy. I'll get into that in a moment. Now, this is moving fast. Trump losing all control of the process. This news breaking within the last hour, rocking the Trump White House. It looked unthinkable to Trump just a week ago. His Republican defense is cracking in the Senate, too, where Republicans buckled and just allowed Senator Schumer to bring the Epstein bill to the floor, and that's through a unanimous agreement. That means not a single Republican senator was left to back the strategy Trump has been using all year through this week, blocking or delaying a vote. And that bought him about 302 days in the House, thanks to Mike Johnson trying everything, even avoiding holding House sessions rather than facing this today. Now, here's what the House voted for. Using its power to force the Trump administration to release all the files. Okay, that means files related to Epstein and his travel and Maxwell, his convicted co-conspirator. It means that they will try to get the information about others linked to Epstein's crime from people to companies. That's a lot. And there may be many witnesses inside government who know where those records are, meaning that if somebody in the government were to try to hide or destroy them to duck Congress, they can be reminded that itself would be a crime. Now, this new bill, which I'm telling you just passed now, both houses of Congress agreeing to it, also demands more. They want records on any deals to grant immunity or prosecution avoidance, which is called a non-prosecution agreement. They want any secret communications that occurred inside both Trump's DOJ and past administrations. Okay, this is not a party thing on paper. If somebody was giving a sweetheart deal to Epstein or anyone around him in any past administration, in any party, they want to know that too. And then there's a second category that could haunt Trump's first term. Communications related to Epstein's associates, his detention and subsequent death, and documents on Epstein the jailing of Epstein and the death, and that would include the examiner files or autopsy reports and records. And if you say, gosh, I guess people think maybe there was some reason to review that or something suspicious about Epstein's death in the custody of the Trump administration's Bureau of Prisons, overseen by then Attorney General Bill Barr. Well, this is not now some random party chatter or internet talk or meme jokes. This is the combined authority of both houses of Congress, almost unanimous, both parties, saying we also want to know what happened in that jail cell. And asking questions, as journalists can tell you, doesn't mean you're...
Okay, guys, I just wanted to jump in there. When he's saying they want to know what happened in that jail cell, you guys, Jeffrey Epstein died, and he died under the Trump administration. If you guys remember, Epstein, what happened to Epstein under the Trump watch is he suddenly died. And people have been saying forever, like, this don't add up. So they want everything. They want all of the records because a lot of this stuff just isn't adding up. If you guys recall, one of the victims yesterday said she reported Jeffrey Epstein centuries ago. So why was this man allowed to still do what he was doing and just be protected? Well, we know why, because he was a white, wealthy man. So not only do they want all of these files released, the people want to know play by play what happened to Jeffrey Epstein when he mysteriously died, because now that, you know, some of the records have been released by his estate, because we know Congress, and until yesterday, they did not have the proper votes to release the files. Well, we know Jeffrey Epstein's estate released emails, and in those emails, Jeffrey Epstein was keeping information on Donald Trump to potentially try to, blackmail. So if Donald Trump knew about that, wouldn't he have more motivation to make sure that something happened to Jeffrey Epstein while he was in that jail? So they want to get those records as well.
Assuming the answer. It just means, let's get all the documents. And why are you hiding them? Now, Trump's party controls the White House and both houses of Congress. You're watching the news, you probably know that. So think about what today means. Nicole Wallace and others were discussing this in our coverage late today. He controls them, but not today. He lost on this issue of his own personal and political vulnerability. There's an old political saying that says there can be a thin line between impossible and inevitable. That's true in life sometimes. You think about how I would never do that, and then you end up doing it. It could be true in politics, too. When Trump came out guns a-blazing politically, I don't mean that literally, in January, with his re-election and his Elon Musk and his Doge, it would have been hard to imagine not only Republicans rejecting him on this, but rejecting him.
I'm going to address one weirdo in the chat, and then I'm not even going to address you idiots. I'm not talking about everybody. Sperrier, if I shut off the live, you idiot, it was simply because it was over. I don't even know you. What you say don't matter. Bitch, you don't even have a profile picture. So I'm about to block you. Get on up out of here. Go take a bath hole. Go to your job. Go take care of your kids, bitch. Like, do something productive, because I'm about to get you up out of here. I'm about to block you. Let me block this hoe. Let's carry on.
This unanimously, all but one vote. And that goes to how he is now written out of this story because
Your mama
it was such
hoe.
a big vote. He can't stop it anymore. I'll explain that in a moment. But remember, this story has dominated now and upended Trump's second term. The hiding is over. To paraphrase the singer SZA, no more hiding, even if it burns or blinds, no more hiding. The nation has watched Trump go from hiding the Epstein files to being forced to release them. And lately, this past 2 days, he's been pretending he backs them without releasing them. As SZA might say, crashing for real, trying for real. No more fake fighting. Don't gotta say it, because I already know, gotta break it. If you want to grow, no more hiding.
No more hiding.
I will say on a personal note, Alex Wagner's
Bring them out, bring them out.
Her views on whether this was a forced lyrical reference. But it is literally true. There will be no more hiding now that the bill has passed. Congress is showing some spine. Republicans following the lead that, remember, began with Democrats. They were the ones that, whatever criticisms you have, and boy, there are all kinds of criticisms of the Democratic Party, left, right, and center. But they're the ones that led this and then recruited the Republican defections to rebuff Trump. Again, this is the kind of revolt, united and bipartisan in spirit, if not.
I just want to address this question, and I'm probably not going to address it again because sometimes we are ignorant because we want to be ignorant. So they were never released. People keep saying, why wasn't the files released before? Do you not understand that the files cannot be released during an active investigation? You can actually Google this stuff. So you can't release something when somebody is really, going through a trial. Now, after the trial, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐤 appealed it. So you have to understand that there actually was no way that it can be released. So, I mean, y'all, this is kind of common sense. I understand your position. Unfortunately, we live in a world that don't care about certain people doing things to children. That's why y'all protect your children. Don't let your children go over certain people's house, because this is how they comment when, an adult is doing things to 12, 13, 14-year-olds. It's absolutely sick. The files could not be released in an active investigation. That is common sense. It is common. Like, you can Google this. Come on now.
In all reality and history that you rarely see in Washington, really in the last several years, and that we have not seen all year in this tumultuous Trump second term. The Senate is joining the House. Remember, Trump tried to prevent this day.
No, I'm not misinformed. You're misinformed because you're slow. Was Jeffrey Epstein the only person that was charged? Didn't I just say 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐤? Are you slow? Get up. I'm gonna block you. If you dumb and you put something in the chat like that, I want you to get out of here too, because this chat ain't for slow people. Was Jeffrey Epstein, was he the only one convicted, or didn't he have, what is her name, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐤 or whatever? Are you that slow? So what it is you protect people like that because this is what you are. Like, come on now. I don't have a dog in this fight. I could care less.
I'm coming. Couple examples. Back in February, they released these files that weren't the Epstein files because, and MAGA leaders have been mad about this, Trump was if you follow the news, just bear with me here, but Trump was lying. Except instead of lying about liberals or Democrats or some other issue, he was lying to his base and these MAGA leaders about the thing that he said he would release a year ago when he was running for the campaign. And what you see there are, well, what he would call maybe a hoax or fake news, fake binders that didn't really have the Epstein files in them, as the AP summarized. By summer, he got the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to commit to something on paper which rejects and undercuts the current effort to say they want to open new probes, because she admitted there's no client list. She walked back her own theory. She wrote a memo saying there is nothing left to investigate. So if Pam Bondi's Justice Department shows up in a courtroom in a week or two saying, well, actually, we can't release any of this because we have new open probes, you can bet the other lawyers and the judge will say, but you committed to DOJ letterhead on paper the opposite. And it was just last week when the Trump White House summoned a congresswoman into a unusual situation room berating a pressure campaign against defections. Longtime Republican but Trump critic Bill Kristol talked about this on our program this week. He said credit to the true believers who, on the other side of the Trump onslaught, held their ground. Now, I'm going to show you something tonight that is as important to this news as the news, and yet it is archival. Our MS Now and Beat producers have pulled this together so you can remember that while Trump now tonight has said he's not even going to resist this, he's going to sign it, and I'll explain why he basically can't veto this in a minute, but he says that now, and he's trying to get different headlines, but we have the receipts for you. The president and Republican Speaker Johnson, their approach for 302 days was to prevent this vote that was then forced on them.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
This is a Democrat hoax. Imagine a president that you voted for don't care about victims of these sorts of heinous crimes, that he has, what is that crazy crap that he came up with, what y'all put in the chat, Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe he has Trump derangement syndrome, because what type of person, he's actually making fun of victims, to call these victims' situation and what they went through a hoax. Imagine, let's just imagine for a moment, you being a child and somebody doing something to you, and have the president of the United States to make a mockery of what you've been through and basically laugh and tell you that you're a lie. You didn't really go through that because this is a hoax.
They're forcing a political show vote on the Epstein files. This is a political exercise.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And
This is a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. It really didn't happen. You know, there really wasn't victims. You know, all of those women are just cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. This is who y'all voted for. This is who y'all voted for. This is a Democrat hoax.
some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
He had no.
Oh, now they're stupid Republicans because they also decided that they feel like that they should release the files. This is who y'all voted for.
Nothing to do with it. President Trump has clean hands. He's not worried about it.
Well, I don't want.
Well, President Trump has clean hands, but we have not saw all the files, and hopefully they're not redacting the information. But if they do, I think the original files are going to come out anyways, because they can also get them from the estate. But we do know that Trump is in the files, because in that one email that Jeffrey Epstein emailed, he said that Trump had been with one of those victims. This is what Jeffrey Epstein said, his boy. And y'all can't forget about the victim that said Donald Trump and Epstein hired her. What about that?
I want to talk about it because fake news.
The discharge petition is not only reckless, it is also a totally moot point.
They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much.
And for the ignorant people in the chat, I know it's hard to, drop out of high school, not even get a minimal of a high school diploma. I don't know how that can be, because some of you is just stupid. You keep saying the same stupid stuff repeatedly over again. the Democrats had for years. And I've said this over and over again. I'm not even going to repeat it. Why do you continue to blame each other? These are victims. At this point, we don't care why whoever didn't do what. At this point, Donald Trump ran on saying that he was going to release the files. So why come he can't release the files? So why are we backtracking and pointing fingers when there are victims involved? Donald Trump ran his campaign on releasing the Epstein files. Now, all of a sudden, it's a hoax. So if it was a hoax, then how could he release files on something that's not true?
That's where Trump landed yesterday, having been dealt this defeat. I quote Mike Johnson tonight, the GOP speaker, back to Mike Johnson. Quote, reckless. But then why did he vote for it today? The answer is obvious. It's why people get cynical and basically disaffected about politics in general. He can't square the circle. If it was reckless, he shouldn't vote for it. If it wasn't reckless and he supports it today, they should have supported it to begin with. If you cared about the truth, the facts, the DOJ, or the victims, well, then you'd have a consistent position, not all of this. But within that negativity and cynicism, there is also a little sliver of hope in the American experience of democracy. You go to a class and someone tells you about they got this thing with the discharge petition, yada, yada. Okay, who cares? But then you find out people can actually use that even against very powerful people. The speaker and the president are very powerful in our government. That's two branches of government right there. And this system worked today. We will find out in the future how that must continue to be forced and pressed. Journalists, activists, lawyers, people interested in getting the truth out can go through the court process. But today, that petition that started mostly with Democrats and a couple Republicans has now unearthed all of this. And Mike Johnson and Donald Trump are pretending to support the thing the Democrats pushed that they fought for 302 days. Trump says he'll sign this. That's late breaking. That he's now okay with the release, while he's also playing games at the DOJ. 60% of Americans are concerned that Trump knew about the abuse. We all know how a bill becomes a law, and you send it down to the White House, and then you find out whether the president signs it. But the president can veto a bill. The vast majority of bills throughout history cannot survive a veto. And that's why you have that whole system. I'm sure you remember. You see the signing, you see him veto. What just happened tonight was unthinkable to so many a week ago. The Senate, controlled by Republicans, could have done all kinds of things, delayed or passed it by 55 votes. No, they are now joining with a unanimous agreement, a veto-proof majority, which means Trump has no power to stop this. Congress.
Trump has no power to stop this. Do you all think that Trump is going to release the files? I don't know if he will. I don't know if he will. If you guys have been watching the news, what they're saying is now what they feel like Trump is going to do is he's going to now use that there is an open investigation. Do I believe that Trump is going to release the files? Absolutely not. And let's make this clear, y'all. This is really not about Trump, other than he's a horrible president. Now, we know already that he's in the Epstein files. We don't know to what magnitude he's in the Epstein files. I mean, we did see an email where Jeffrey Epstein said Donald Trump had been with the victim. But let's be clear. This is about wealthy, very wealthy not black men, very wealthy white men. So I don't feel like this is totally about Trump, other than he is the president, right? He could have basically said, hey, let's just release the files. But why is he allowing these victims to be further victimized by a situation that they did not necessarily have to go through? Keep in mind, Donald Trump ran his campaign. What did he say he was going to do? He said that he was going to release the files. And now what is Donald Trump saying? It's a hoax. This really didn't happen. This is a Democrat-created hoax that never happened. But what are the survivors saying? What are the survivors saying? What are the survivors saying?
In the end, no amount of arm twisting by Donald Trump or threats that he lobbed on Truth Social or gaslighting people by saying the Epstein case is some sort of hoax by Democrats managed to...
Let me just tell y'all something so that y'all don't waste your time. all the stupid shit that you putting in the chat, you are wasting your time, honey, because I will block you. I'm not going to let you hoes get me to cussing you out, because I know you are low vibrational and you are trash, especially if you voted for a man that plays with children. So what you do is go and I tell you what you do. You kiss your own ass, because you're not worth the shit that come out your ass. Okay, how about that?
Stop or slow the passage of legislation to release the Epstein files. It passed in the House of Representatives this afternoon. Just one member of Congress, a Republican named Clay Higgins, was a no vote on this legislation. When the bill passed, Democrats turned around to
woohoo to all the haters in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Release the files. Release the files. Release the files. The pedos gotta go. Release the files. I know you mad. I know you big mad. The files is coming out. I know you're mad. Let's get into it, you big mad.
Applaud the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, who shouted back at everyone, "Thank you." It was an intense lobbying effort by those survivors that helped drive overwhelming public support.
Release the files.
In the
Release
passage
the
of today's
files.
vote. At a press conference this morning, the survivors reiterated their calls for transparency and insisted that partisan politics should have nothing to do with this. Here's Haley Robson with a message for Donald Trump.
Y'all so mad. Oh.
To the President of the United States of America, who is not here today,
to the trash President of the United States, who is not here today. What type of president trash that you all vote for that's not even there to support these survivors? But he's all the way over in Argentina giving them $40 million. Was it billion, a million? I don't remember. It doesn't even matter. But not even here to support victims. And one other thing, this woman voted for him. This is the trash that y'all voted for.
I want to send a clear message to you. While I do understand that your position has changed on the Epstein files, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill, I can't help to be skeptical of what the agenda is. So with that being said, I want to relay this message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. You have put us through so much stress, the lockdowns, the halt of these procedures that were supposed to have happened 50 days ago. The 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐿, who waited to get sworn in, and then get upset when your own party goes against you because what is being done is wrong. It's not right.
Upset because his own party would like the files to be released. And, you know, Trump don't want the files to release because he's in there. They've also saying that they're scrubbing the files and doing all type of shit. But I promise you, at the end of the day, the real is going to come out. Because, see, Donald Trump is really stupid. I mean, you voted for a president that never had to work a day in his life. He was handed everything. He don't know how to punch a clock. He don't know how to get fired. He doesn't know none of the shit that you know because you actually had to go out there and work a regular job, okay? So he knows nothing about this type of stuff. No compassion for victims. What type of president did you guys elect in the White House? To the point, you have to be a low piece of trash that you would support anybody that did any sort of a thing like this to anybody. But this is who you guys voted for. And you know, when I see these weird comments in the chat, it lets me know what an effed up world we live in. And I know that today that we live in an effed up world because you people support this. And I hope you rot and burn in hell.
For your own self-serving purposes, this is America. This is land of the free. Land of the free. In 1863, we have a woman on top of the Capitol building represent freedom. I do not feel free today.
I do not feel free today. I do not feel free today. She don't feel free today.
I don't know if the women behind me feel free today. So I am begging every member of Congress, every representative to step up and choose the chaos. Choose the survivors. Choose the children. Protect the children. All children. You protect all of us equally.
She said enough right there. Protect the children. I think you people are missing this in your silly brains. She's an adult now. This woman was harmed as a child, and you're protecting these sort of people. And then in the chat saying all kind of miserable shit, because it just lets me know that not only do we have a crazy, deranged president who eats McDonald's, like who in the hell eats McDonald's? But we also have people that support him.
Equally.
Wow. Choose the survivors. Protect the children. Something that Donald Trump and the Republican Party, if they wanted to, could have done a long time ago, according to the Republican co-sponsor of the bill, Republican Thomas Massie. Watch.
The Speaker, the Attorney General, the FBI Director, the President, and the Vice President could have saved us all this time and embarrassment, frankly, for our own party if they'd just done the right thing 4 months ago. Well, I'm concerned that now he's opening a flurry of investigations, and I believe they may be trying to use those investigations as a predicate for not releasing the files.
It's a healthy suspicion to have. Now, the bill heads to the Senate, and Senate Republican leader John Thune has said it could be up for a vote this week. It remains an open question, though, as Thomas Massie points out, and as Haley Robson says, I'm traumatized, not stupid. She talked about being skeptical. So it remains to be seen whether the administration will actually provide transparency and give access to the files now that Trump has ordered an investigation to be opened into any Democrats who may be named in the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi, of course, complied with the request that Donald Trump made publicly. Here's what a survivor and a Trump supporter had to say about all that this morning.
We are hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it.
I gotta rewind that. You are the president. Please start acting like one. You are a raging lunatic with Twitter fingers. Please, Donald Trump, can you act like a president? Let's rewind that. Can you act like a president, Donald Trump? Do you know what act means? Can you spell it?
Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership.
Show some class, you piece of trash. You got a president in the White House with no class. He tearing the damn White House down. This man is so ignorant. He done tore the damn White House down. This is a historic building. Get some class.
Show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment.
He is an embarrassment, an embarrassment. This is, listen, United States, aren't we supposed to be like the richest? This is just, it's embarrassing. We got a whole kid in the White House. This is who you people elected. So it should go to tell you just how smart you really are. You put a man in a White House with how many felonies? It doesn't even matter. I know it's over 30. Now, I know, shit happens, but how did it happen that you have 30-something felonies? You went to Republicans, have them put in a law so that the president can't go to prison. This man don't give a damn about anybody but himself. How in the hell do you vote for a person with 30-something felonies? Come on now, make it make sense. 30-something felonies. And let me make sure you crazies in the chat understand. Donald Trump, he had a jury trial. So the people said he was guilty. So can y'all stop with this Delulu shit? Donald Trump was convicted. He's a multiple convicted felon. Do you guys get it? Are you, oh, you Delulu. Oh, Donald Trump didn't do it. They set him up. You people are nuts. But you know what, though? I know some people that voted for Donald Trump, and they Delulu as hell, too. How did you vote for a convicted felon with 30-something felonies? How?
It is time to take the honest, moral ground and support the release of these files, not to weaponize pieces of the files against random political enemies that did nothing wrong, but to understand who Epstein's friends were, who covered for him, what financial institutions allowed his trafficking to continue, who knew what he was doing but was too much of a coward to do anything about it. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were able to recruit and abuse young girls and women. Then the country will learn nothing, and has horrible history will repeat itself if we do not do something about this.
Let me address the weirdo in the chat. Somebody put in the chat, I'm not even going to say your name. You said that Donald Trump was a better candidate than Kamala. Ma'am, listen, some people can suffer their entire life and don't have common sense to understand where their suffering came from, and they so crazy they don't even know how to fix it. So if that's what you believe it. I bet you on food stamps. I bet you on public assistance. I bet you have a job. So if that's what you believe, that is probably why you are where you are in life and why your ass will never go anywhere. Because let me just tell you something. I would have voted for anybody. I would have never voted for somebody who has all of them damn felonies on their record, okay? Barack Obama was dragged by Donald Trump. And you know why? Because he is jealous of hell of Barack Obama. He can never be Barack Obama. He will never be respected like Barack Obama. Donald Trump is the equivalent of McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. Well, actually, I don't even want to give him McDonald's. Donald Trump is the equivalent of white, dusty trash. Okay? Yeah, I said what I said.
It's a milestone in the push for transparency around the Epstein case, and it is where we start today. Epstein survivor, friend of the program, Jess Michaels, is here. Jess, how do you feel today?
I'm still processing. Thank you for having me on such a historic day. It feels hopeful, cautiously optimistic.
Jess, Haley said...
y'all put in the y'all put in the chat that I'm racist. I wouldn't give a damn what y'all said. And guess what? I ain't clearing it up, because if that's what you think, I don't give a damn. And I would not even go into my history to say, oh, I'm not racist because I got a white friend. I don't care what you think. What you think don't pay my damn bill. So if that's what you think, it's okay with me. Carry on.
I am traumatized, but not stupid. What does that mean?
When you've gone through a lot of trauma, you deal with a lot of brain fog. You deal with a lot of physical issues. You deal with cognitive thinking issues. And so I think that she was alerting everyone to, like, this, there's trauma here. We may struggle with our words sometimes. We may struggle with our emotions.
You know the funny thing about this? I love you trolls. Like, you just make my day. Because when I see all the bullshit that y'all put in the chat, it lets me know how great my life is. Now, let me tell you, MF, or something. If you ever think I'm going to address somebody calling me a racist, as a Black person, we deal with racism each and every day. And you know what you hoes do? You lie as if you don't know what we're talking about, or we're Delulu. Oh, that's not racist. So if you think you calling me racist, it's going to make me tell you how I'm not racist, you got the wrong person, okay? I don't give a damn what you think, how you think, and none of that matters to me. You can think what you want. Like I said, as a Black person, we live in a racist world, okay? So nobody is justifying that. So if you think that I'm going to sit here and tell you why I'm not racist, try somebody else, because I am the person who simply don't give a F-U-C-K what you think, how you think, and how you want to think it, okay? Okay, have a good day. Okay, next.
But here we are. We're not stupid. We're strong. And I couldn't be prouder to stand with those women today, or with Haley. She rocked it.
Let me show you what Marjorie Taylor Greene said about you and all of the women that have come together really to make this case, not just to Congress, but to the American people.
These women have fought the most horrific fight that no woman should have to fight, and they did it by banding together and never giving up. And that's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans.
Intermission. Somebody said, why am I allowed to call you white trash? Because you are. I called you white trash because you are. Now, if you're not white trash, then I must not be talking about you. But if you feel like I'm talking about you, then I am. Okay? So go get your food stamps. As you know, the government is open. You can collect your food stamps and go buy you a TV dinner, because you ain't gonna win over here. I said what I said. Okay? Now let's carry on. Have a good day.
Like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen, and they put more.
This is hilarious. You people are hilarious. I love how when you think a person don't like white people, then all of a sudden they're the worst. Let me tell you something. You got the right one today, honey. And if you think that, I'm not going to clear it up. Okay. So, hey, it is what it is. Trump don't like Black people, but y'all like him. It's okay for people not to like Black people. But the moment you think they don't like white people, oh, it's a problem. Go get your food stamps, buy you a TV dinner, because as you know, y'all are fluctuating the welfare system. You guys lead in public assistance. You lead in everything that's free. So I don't even know why y'all voted for Trump, considering all the public assistance you receive, all the food stamps you receive, and how you love public assistance. I know y'all want to try to make it seem like it's the Black person. It's actually you and your neighbor. Okay. Thank you.
Pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them.
You know, there is not a lot of bipartisan.
One of you hoes put in the chat, she don't have a job. You are absolutely right. I don't work for nobody but myself. Now that is correct. But you, on the other hand, you are probably at your job. So do your job. Okay. Do your job, because if you work, then maybe you'll get less food stamps.
Stuff that happens in Congress. And because of the choices you all made before you were this unit, I mean, I think the first time I interviewed you, you talked about how you hadn't met a lot of the survivors before the September 1st or September 3rd press conference. And I wonder what it feels like to have brought a bipartisan vote, an overwhelming, near unanimous bipartisan vote along in just 2 short months in today's climate.
That is the big takeaway from today. We don't know what's going to happen with the files. We don't know how long this is all really going to take. But the fact that there was such a strong bipartisan effort, the fact that we sat in the Women's Caucus and they had the Democratic Women's Caucus and they brought in some of the Republican Women Caucus members, and that we all stood in the same room sharing the same goals. I think that's the win. That's the big win today. And I have to tell you, there was one comment of the day that has stuck with me, and it will stay with me. About it is the phrase of the day. A woman, one of the staffers, was talking with us, and she had tears in her eyes, and she said, "This should not have to be an act of Congress." Yeah, it was.
This should not be an act of Congress. Again, Donald Trump could have released the files, but he didn't release them, so they had to go and vote on it because Donald Trump is running a PPP program. And I know y'all know what that means. Protecting Pedos Protection Program. That is what Donald Trump is running.
So true, and sadly, here we are. But the sisterhood of all of the survivors, and now connecting with all of the women in Congress and in the House, we feel really strongly that we have a lot of support, and from the American people.
I mean, it is, I think, the first thing that's been more popular than any of the officials in either political party. And it's maybe, my theory is, it's what gives some folks to buck the more senior people in their party. But what do you think about Thomas Massie and the Republican women kind of went out on a limb before we arrived at this place where we are today? How important were they to moving it over the line?
I think everyone did their part beautifully. I know that they, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, brought this dispatch petition to fruition. And then we had 3 other Republican women that joined. I think it's been a small move of the needle every single day, week, month. And it has taken lots of tiny steps to get us where we are today, where we stood in the House gallery and watching a near unanimous vote. I mean, we've all come together to move mountains, and what people said couldn't happen, wouldn't happen, we all did it together.
Well, Donald Trump, I don't know what else to say. This is too much. Thank you for the super chat, Wendell Scott. Thank you so much. But here's the deal, y'all. Donald Trump is somewhere, humiliating another woman. He wasn't there for these victims, but call this lady a little piggy. This is who y'all voted for. The president of the United States has no decorum. He's a felon. He has no manners. He's an embarrassment. He's a disgrace. Doesn't even have proper etiquette. I mean, let's get into this. This is so distasteful. It's just, he's a nasty, filthy indiviable.
Is there something incriminating in the file, sir?
Quiet, piggy. If I was her, I'd have slapped shit out of him. Quiet, piggy. As if he's not a fat, nasty, out of shape president. Huh? Quiet, piggy. What kind of weirdo is this? Quiet, piggy. Huh? Help me. What's going on here?
on Venezuela, sir. You've had a lot of meetings on Venezuela. I know you can't tell us what your next steps will be, but can you say, have you made up your mind on what you'd like to do for as far as action? For
I sort of made up my mind.
You have,
but I can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of did.
What do you say to some of your supporters who might not be excited about another foreign campaign?
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I can't tell you what it is, but we've made a lot of progress with Venezuela in terms of stopping drugs from pouring here. But we have a Mexico problem. We have a Colombia problem. Beating Colombia in the country. We're doing very well. Drugs coming into our country are greatly slowed, as you can imagine.
On the terrible lecture, there's a significant change to other message for belief.
I just want to bring down something for the most part, the foods will be cut back a little bit of those tariffs. We'll get the price down, but they're not competitive in this country. Like tomatoes and bananas and things, we don't make them in this country. So there's no protection of our industries or our food products. So what we're going to do is we cut back, we see prices come down even lower. You have to understand, we've all suffered from the Biden prices, which were much higher than they are right now. But I'll be able to get them down even lower, or at least a little bit more, possibly in some cases a lot lower.
More rollbacks in the future, but your tariff policies, what I mean, will there be more rollbacks in the future? Will you change anything else with tariffs?
I don't think it'd be necessary. We just did a little bit of a rollback with some foods, like coffee, as an example, where the prices of coffee are going to be high now. They'll be on the low side in a very short period of time. We're very good at this. The problem is we inherited the country. We took over January 20th where the prices were through the roof. So they were up 30, 40, 50%.
You know, the bad part about this is we live in a world where people don't speak up. I would have said, excuse me, you are so disgusting. Why didn't nobody speak up? Because obviously they want to get the interview. I would have said, you are a disgusting, not only are you a disgusting human, you are a man calling a woman Miss Piggy as if your body is together. And we done saw not only are you fat, you have no shape. See, there's some people that may be a little big, but they have a shape. Donald, you are nasty, and you calling this woman Piggy and your body look like that. Calling this lady a man, calling a president. This is a president. Be quiet, Miss Piggy.
Discriminating in the fight, Venezuelan,
Quiet, Piggy. This is some ignorant, low-class type shit. Like, who? This is just like embarrassment. This is total embarrassment. There would be no way that I would have been a reporter and stood there and said nothing. If he behaved like that, guess what I don't want? I don't want an interview. I don't want to talk to a disgusting human being like that thinks it's okay to berate somebody, a woman too. Like, she's simply just asking you questions, but because you're so ignorant and you don't like the question that she's saying, you call her Miss Piggy. Where in the hell, what type of world are we living in? Not to mention what Nancy Pelosi had to say about his character. Let's get into it.
Founders did not want a king, so they separated the power. That's the beauty of the Constitution. Our founders did not want to have, again, how can I say this? It'll sound like I'm awful about Trump because he's just a vile creature.
He's a vile creature. Now, when somebody call you a vile creature, you know, I've had people say nasty stuff, but a vile creature, that means he's not human. He's a vile creature. Judging from what he just called this woman, yeah, I can believe that.
The worst thing on the face of the earth.
He's the worst thing on the face of this earth. Damn.
But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah, I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the president of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives. He's chilled the press. He's scared people who are in our country legally what making them smashing into their cars and the rest. Now, I don't even want to even go into that, but that's a whole.
He's a rogue president. He's a criminal. He's a multiple felon. I mean, this man has multiple felonies. We know when he comes out of office, he's going to be convicted and I'm sure imprisoned with the rest of his cult-like administration. Donald Trump is a thug. He's a rogue. She said he's the worst individual, vile creature. This is how people are referring to the president that y'all picked that's out here calling women, you be quiet, Miss Piggy. Now, if you're going to call somebody Miss Piggy, don't look like Miss Piggy husband, because that box body, big old pants that you be wearing, you probably shouldn't call anybody Miss Piggy, especially to be 90 years old, still eating at damn McDonald's. I mean, you are the president of the United States. You have a private chef. Why in the hell are you eating McDonald's? But this is who y'all picked, a man who doesn't support victims, you know, tell a victim that their story is a hoax. So, I mean, if you tell a victim who's been through a certain situation that their story is a hoax, are you telling them that they're delusional? Are you telling them that they're crazy? Because I'm not understanding, if this was a hoax, then what just happened yesterday? Because we could not vote on something that is simply not true. But of course, you guys excuse this kind of behavior because some of y'all are miserable. You don't have nothing going on in your life. And like I said before, the few people that I know that voted for Trump, they don't have a job. They don't even own a house. Hell, they barely have a car. And you know what else I noticed? That they apply for everything free that they can possibly get. And I know a lot of y'all in the chat are just like them. And the fact that you protect people that hurt children. You protect people that hurt children. Do you have any friends? Do you have anybody that love you? Do you have anybody that even like you? The fact that you look up to a 36, is it 36 or 34? How many felonies does Donald Trump have? If you know, put it in the chat. I don't remember. Is it 34, 36? Does it even matter? I mean, a multiple felon is who you support. You support a multiple felon that is taking the money from us hardworking people in the United States and giving it to another country. And for all of you people that receive food stamps, you're going to have to reapply because Donald Trump really don't want to give you that either. Now, here's my take on food stamps. I believe, as we just saw, people have lost their jobs. There's going to come a time where you may have to apply for that. But guess what? Donald Trump don't even want you to get that. They're saying now that he wants everybody that received food stamps to reapply, which is crazy because if you know anything about food stamps, you actually have to reapply at different intervals in the program. It's not like they just give you food stamps and say, hey, you get food stamps for the rest of your life. But you're dealing with a president who has never worked, who has never went through any of the things that an ordinary person has went through. And this is who y'all voted for. And you know what I can't remember who this person was, but it was a social media influencer. Let me see if I can find his video because he sums up everything that I would like to say. Now, what he said, he did a video, and what he said, y'all, he said, I believe regardless of everything that we are going through now, if these same people were given the opportunity, they would vote for Trump again. Y'all know why he said that? Because we live in a world that you don't even really like black people. And you definitely don't like black women. I can see the little stupid shit that y'all putting in my chat, which you know I don't give a F about what you say because I said what I said, okay? You would do the same thing because you would rather be tortured by Trump than to have a black woman to run this country. Let me see if I can find that video. Let me see if I can find it because we live in a crazy world. Okay, here it is right here. No, that's old. I don't know if I can find it, but there is a video on people, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there was a video that he did. Yeah, I think I found it right here. This is a good video, y'all. We're going to get into this video. I want y'all to see this video, and this going to sum up what I would love to say, but he said it so eloquently, I don't even need to put no sauce or nothing else on it. Let's watch this video, because I believe that we live in a world where people are so evil. They're so evil. They're so nasty. I mean, look at y'all. Look at some of the crazy stuff that you crazies are putting in the chat. We live in a world that people are so evil and so nasty. They would rather go through everything that Trump has put the United States through to ever have a president that looked like Kamala, simply because she's a woman and she's black. Let's get into it.
Real quick, I just seen it on the news, but they was interviewing somebody, and the lady, she was crying and, you know, just talking about, you know, how she gonna feed her kids, and, you know, took the snap away from her. And I'm a very empathetic person, for sure. But I've been telling myself this the last couple of days. I said, man, you know, the only people that I'm really sympathizing with right now, who's experiencing, you know, high grocery prices and SNAP being taken away and trying to figure out how they're gonna feed their kids, and, you know, waiting in the long lines in the airport, you know, 3-4 hours. And the only people that I'm really sympathizing and empathizing with is the motherfuckers who didn't vote for this. Who didn't vote for him. I ain't no motherfucker for this. Who didn't vote for him. Them the other 70 some motherfucking million people. I'm not motherfucking sympathetic for that. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel that way. Because I believe with everything in me, if this country had to redo this same goddamn election that happened 11 months ago, I believe with everything in me, these motherfuckers would do the same thing again. And the reason that I say that is because they hate that motherfucking black woman more than they hate what they currently going through right motherfucking now. They hate her more than what they currently motherfucking going through right now. And I believe that with everything in me. And for me to believe that and to feel that motherfucker, see, you tricked me. This motherfucker, this country, I was motherfucking optimistic. I think that's the right word. I didn't think this motherfucker, I just didn't think this country was who I motherfucking thought it was. It tricked me, but it'll never motherfucking trick me again. And by me understanding that, I feel the way that I motherfucking feel. Hey, this real quick.
And guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Like, he put that so eloquently. I didn't have to put nothing on that. And for the people, you know, this is what I learned in life, okay? You can tell people the same stuff over and over again. They will still say the same stuff because they're delulu. Let's make sure you guys aren't that delulu. People can have any opinion they want. That is why we are all different. But there's only one opinion to have when it comes to hurting children. There is no other opinion, okay? So you protect children, and that's it. That's all. There is no other opinion to have. So if you have a different opinion outside of protecting children, it just means something is wrong with you. And when I say you should go to hell, you should. Because if you don't stand for protecting a child, you are sick. And that's just that. Okay, so y'all have a great day. And if you voted for Trump and you are suffering, get you another job. Do something with your life. I don't know what you're going to do, but honey, do it. Because guess what? My life is fine. For you idiots putting in the chat, get a job, sweethearts, I have worked a job my entire life. You do get to a point in life where you create other income so that I'm not laid off like all of the people, the federal people that were working for the government. I even work for the government. So unfortunately, I have created other sources of income that does not include me working a regular job, because we just saw people that were working regular jobs. What happened? They got laid off. Those people got laid off. And what you think what happened when they got laid off? If they didn't have a whole bunch of money saved up, which I'm going to just say, if you work in a regular job, I'm sure you don't have a whole lot of money to save up because you're waiting on your next check. Those people went right to the public assistance line. So to each his own. One thing I don't support is people that hurt children, and that's it, and that's all.